It has been 1,295 days since your last victory.
Hataoka, a second Toto Japan Classic title. She was a winner back in 2018.
She's herself, which is amazing. What a great victory. Playoff hole. But do you know what? She thoroughly, I think, over the course of the week, she's the player that actually maybe just...
What if I told you the biggest rivalry in women's golf didn't start with a trophy, a playoff, or a dramatic collapse, but with a storm? A single Sunday morning in Japan, one suspension, one cancellation, and suddenly two superstars were pushed onto opposite sides of history. Not because they wanted it, not because they earned it, but because destiny forced their paths to collide. And the truth is this: that storm didn't end a tournament. It created a Cold War. When the final round of the Toto Japan Classic was canceled, most people thought the story ended there. But that moment didn't close a chapter, it opened one. 1 hour into what should have been the biggest Sunday of Miyu Yamashita's career, the sky poured, the LPGA officials huddled, and the announcement dropped like a bomb. The final round is canceled. To casual fans, it was disappointing but understandable. To those who knew golf, it felt like fate interrupting a masterpiece. Miyu was just a single shot behind, riding a wave of momentum unlike anything the LPGA had seen in years, fresh off an 8-shot comeback the week before. And on the other side of the leaderboard sat Nasa Hataoka, the veteran who had waited 3 long years for another win, and suddenly found herself protected by a decision she didn't make, but undeniably benefited from. No one blamed Nasa, no one accused Miyu, but deep down, every fan, every commentator, every player who saw the leaderboard before the storm knew this wasn't just the end of a tournament, it was the spark that quietly created a rivalry. Japan hasn't had a generational duel like this in years, and in a sport as traditional as golf, that matters. Nasa Hataoka spent most of her career carrying the torch for Japanese women's golf, steady, disciplined, and admired for her consistency and calm. She was the face of experience, the image companies wanted, the player young girls tried to copy at the driving range. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, came Miyu Yamashita, young, electric, fearless, and impossible to ignore. Her putting was supernatural, her confidence magnetic, her comebacks legendary. And unlike most rising stars, she didn't arrive quietly. She arrived with fire, winning on home soil, shocking fields, and capturing the hearts of thousands who saw something different in her. Emotion, charisma, and the ability to make golf feel like destiny. Japan suddenly had 2 queens standing on the same stage, each with her own kingdom. And everyone knew the throne wasn't big enough for both. It wasn't personal yet, it wasn't confrontational yet, but the unspoken competition for national spotlight had already begun. Rivalries never begin with the players themselves. They begin with the fans who interpret every detail, every expression, every moment as evidence of a story unfolding. And after the cancellation in Japan, the fan base didn't just split, it erupted. On one side were Hataoka loyalists, the traditionalists who valued experience and felt her playoff victory was a deserved triumph. On the other side stood Yamashita's growing army, insisting she had been robbed of an 18-hole showdown she earned through her brilliance and momentum. Social media became a battleground. Japanese forums debated it late into the night. LPGA Twitter, Reddit, even Korean fan communities weighed in. Miyu was destined to win. Nasa had already outplayed her. They should have postponed to Monday. The rules are the rules. Whether the players wanted it or not, the public drew a line between them. Algorithms pushed the drama. Comment sections turned into arguments. And suddenly, this wasn't just a debate about weather, it was a debate about identity, loyalty, and the future of Japanese golf. The rivalry became real the moment fans chose sides. What makes this rivalry so captivating isn't just timing or circumstance, it's the pure contrast between the players themselves. Nasa Hataoka is the embodiment of control. Every swing measured, every decision calculated, every round built on precision rather than emotion. She plays golf like a surgeon, slicing through courses with ball-striking excellence and quiet confidence. Miyu Yamashita is the exact opposite, a storm of momentum and emotion, capable of turning tournaments upside down with a single hot streak. Her putting isn't just good, it's terrifying when she locks in. Her confidence isn't just strong, it's contagious. She wins not by avoiding mistakes, but by creating magic. Their games don't overlap, they collide. And that's why analysts around the world suddenly became obsessed with comparing them. Whose strengths are more sustainable, whose weaknesses can be exploited, Who would win in a straight shootout over 18 holes? The answer isn't obvious, which is why their contrast creates electricity. It's Federer versus Nadal. It's Lewis Hamilton versus Verstappen. It's two styles of greatness colliding in a sport that rarely gives us matchups this compelling. Golf is a polite sport on the surface. Smiles, handshakes, neutral press conferences, but behind the scenes, players feel shifts long before the public does. And after Toto Japan, the air in the locker room changed. Not with hostility, not with bitterness, but with something subtler: awareness. People noticed how Miyu and Nasa interacted or didn't. There were moments where they exchanged quick smiles, but the kind of smiles that stay tight and professional. Moments where they walked past each other without stopping. Moments where pairings felt a little heavier, like both understood the cameras were looking for reactions. And then, the whispers started. Caddies jokingly asking each other which camp they belonged to. Players quietly observing how both women handled the growing attention. No one said the word rivalry out loud, but everyone felt it building. Every sport has its unspoken dynamics, golf is no different. And inside that locker room, the energy around Miyu and Nasa shifted from neutral coexistence to competitive gravity, like two stars slowly being pulled into the same orbit. What truly transformed this into an international storyline was how fast it spread beyond Japan. American LPGA fans, always hungry for rivalries, jumped on the narrative, calling Miyu the next breakout star, and Nasa the reigning queen defending her throne. Korean fans, familiar with pressure-packed rivalries, started analyzing their games with analytical detail. Thai fans, Filipino fans, and broadcasters across Asia began framing the situation as the LPGA's next major storyline. Even media outlets that barely covered women's golf started running segments comparing their trajectories. And the more the world talked, the more the rivalry evolved from a national conversation to a global one. People stopped asking whether the cancellation was fair. They started asking who the better player really is. Who represents the future? Who the LPGA should market more? The storyline grew because it had everything: skill, contrast, generational shift, cultural symbolism, emotional investment, and just enough mystery to keep fans guessing. Rivalries need oxygen, and this one was suddenly everywhere, spreading, multiplying, becoming bigger than either player expected. Now all paths lead to the CME Group Tour Championship, the place where storylines either die or evolve into something unforgettable. For Nasa Hataoka, CME is a chance to prove that her Japan win wasn't circumstantial, but the beginning of a comeback era. For Miyu Yamashita, CME becomes the battlefield where she can reclaim her stolen momentum and remind the world why she's the most dangerous player when the pressure spikes. Whether they get paired together or not, their presence shadows every leaderboard graphic, every broadcast moment, every conversation between analysts. Fans won't just check their scores, they'll compare them. Every birdie becomes a statement. Every mistake becomes fuel. Every round adds a new chapter. And if fate pairs them side by side on any day of the tournament, the viewership will spike because everyone wants to witness the unplayed Sunday finally manifest in real time. CME isn't just another event this year, it's the first true battleground of this rivalry, the first test of who will carry the crown into 2026. And what makes this rivalry so compelling is that no matter what happens at CME, it's not ending, it's beginning. 2026 already looks like the season where these two will collide over and over, from majors to high-pressure Sundays to international stages where the spotlight forces every emotion to the surface. They are destined to meet, destined to clash, destined to define an era of Japanese golf in a way no duo has before. And the LPGA, knowingly or not, now has its first true narrative rivalry in years. Two queens rising at the same time, each with her own army, her own style, her own momentum. The rain may have taken away a round of golf, but it left something far more powerful behind, a storyline that will follow both of them everywhere they go. This is no longer about what happened in Japan, it's about what comes next. Two players, one spotlight, one throne, and a rivalry that's only getting deeper, sharper, and more inevitable with every tournament that passes. And as this rivalry keeps rising, one thing is clear. The storm may have canceled a round, but it started an era. Two superstars, one spotlight, and a rivalry that's only getting sharper with every swing, every leaderboard, every Sunday that follows. But now, I want to hear from you. Who carries Japan's crown into 2026, Yamashita or Hataoka? Drop your pick in the comments. because this debate isn't dying anytime soon. And if you want the next chapter of this rivalry, the behind-the-scenes drama, the revenge arc, and the moment they finally meet again under pressure, then make sure to hit subscribe, because the story only gets crazier from here.